Kazuma.
Disappointment.
Oh yeah, so just a refresher for people who uh, need a refresher.
Oh, here,
Last
here. Let me
time,
try.
what?
No, you can go. You can go. I'll do it next time.
I'm just doing very brief. I'm just saying we were halfway through the case, and we just got Giselle Brett to the stand and began interrogating her, but hit a bit of a dead end where we couldn't find anything, and it seems like all hope is lost.
If only we can find a great turnabout. Uh,
Also, hey there, Shady.
hey, Shady, my boy.
Kazuma,
What?
is there really no chance now of turning this trial around?
Uh, you've heard the judge. There's nothing about that last photograph the detective produced that we can contest. Which means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue.
Very well. I will not proceed. How did I do his voice? I will now proceed immediately to the ruling.
It seems you'll be able to report to the British government on time after all.
Yeah, that is when you know it's Rough Dragon.
That's smug little.
It is no hurry. Having considered all of the evidence placed before me, I hereby. What? Wait, Your Excellency.
Vrianovsky.
I don't think you can rule on this case yet.
This amateurishness is getting tedious. When His Excellency deems that the trial is over, he gives his ruling. That's the most basic protocol of courtroom.
Your Excellency, just a moment ago you said this. As the photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance, there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Now that means if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail I mean, then ruling on this case at this time would be out of the question.
This is brilliant and straw-clutching. Look at this photographic print.
There was a mark on the back of the guy's wrist, Shady. Good memory.
All it shows is the handbag the gentleman was carrying on the day in question. There can be no problem with this evidence.
You'd better know what you're doing, Vrianovsky.
I understand your objection, Counsel. Certainly, the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court's scrutiny. However, I fail to see how we can glean any new information from this humbug.
That's exactly. Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes.
Little devil symbol. Yes, I am desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. There's something about this photograph which just doesn't seem right. If only I could put my finger on it.
If I could only put my wrist on it.
Very well. I will grant the defense one final opportunity. But be warned, if I am unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect. Look at that threatening gavel thumping in
That's
his
a
hand.
big gavel.
Do I make myself clear? Yes, Your Excellency. So, take another look at this photographic print Inspector Hasanaga submitted before. You will identify for the court where in this print we see the significant detail to which you have alluded.
I mean, really, it is where it is. Like, my instinct would be to say the gun could have slipped through the handbag, but I think what it's trying to make us point is to the tattoo or that branding or whatever it is on his wrist.
So is that your answer?
Yeah, that's gonna be my answer. It's the branding because it's the first we've ever heard of it.
Oh, that is not the There we go. Look at this here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. Dude, looks like the battle priest from Fantasy RPG. Yeah, you love the gamble smack animation. The bottom of the glass, same as the mark, same shape. We can't see the bottom of the glass really.
The restaurant is called Le Carnaval, which doesn't really have anything to do with bulls, as far as I'm aware, but we'll see.
This is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description.
Dear me, I was pondering what new piffle you would come out with. A burn, you say, on the victim's wrist? Clearly, that has nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's handbag.
Oh, I see.
Yes, that is a burn mark, you're right.
I get it.
You do? What?
The burn mark is the gun burned his wrist when he was trying to like push it away or something.
How's she so good? Champagne's only ever get like one case of game. I guess, I don't know. Go on,
I feel like
I think they're too shallow.
Chad wouldn't tolerate my pain voice the entire game.
I don't think you'd tolerate it. Imagine doing it that much.
Oh, I would retire from voice acting permanently.
I mean, at least Wendy Oldbag was only in one case.
Oh my god, Wendy.
The police coroner also noticed it when he was performing the post-mortem examination. He was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't note it in his report.
What did I tell you? In any case, we had no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either.
The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this mark. However, as Prosecutor Ouchie points out, unless a firm connection to the case can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise details of this burn. Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with the Dean and other university staff. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now.
Of course, dear lady. We shan't hold you up any longer. I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway.
What you thinking on this, Ryunosuke? Do you believe this burn does have something to do with the case?
To be honest,
This
is me. To be honest, I am not really sure. But if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So I was thinking I should keep digging and digging, in the hope that I might uncover something useful.
Yes, you're right.
I am?
If we can just link that burn to the case. If we can do that, we might be able to prise this shutting door back open again.
Just give up, Counsel. You can't possibly hope to do that.
Indeed, I'm afraid that without evidence, I can't allow you to pursue what is little more than conjecture.
But if we had evidence... evidence that irrefutably linked the victim of the bucket's wrist. That linked the burn on the victim's wrist to the case. Then you would allow it?
Kazuma, your Japanese is slipping.
Oh, happens when I get excitable.
I would, yes.
To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. But as soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice, it's a very 90s action star, was the color draining from Miss Brett's face.
Ah, ooh, ah. Really? Had to find some link between that burn and the case. This is the moment of truth.
Moment of
It's
truth.
time to find some evidence that proves what that burn really means.
So that the defense will now present its evidence to the court. The evidence that demonstrates an inexplicable connection between the victim's burn and this trial.
Oh, yikes. Oh, let me see the other picture. Maybe there's a...
This?
Maybe it's maybe there's a bull mark
Ah.
on the griddle. No, it doesn't seem like it.
That picture or this picture?
I mean, that picture's fine. Oh, it does have the bull marking on it. Yeah, you're right. That one. Yes! That one.
What's this, Counsel? Yet another print.
Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention.
Oh, I get it. Again.
When we humans look at a scene, we miss things.
The body was moved?
But in a photograph, things may have been overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore. Gotta love black and white photos.
Yeah, do hurry up, Rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further would really be quite inexcusable.
Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer if you don't mind, Miss Brett.
Oh, me?
You see, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How?
You can't fool me with that little bluffs, boy. And if that's your game, then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean. What is in this photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn?
Grasping at straws over here.
What?
So the bull-shaped marking on the grill,
That?
on the plate, the veal. Yeah.
No!
Yeah.
Why? What by it? It's why. Okay.
The beefsteak?
Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. Feels too
The
spicy.
veal's way too spicy.
The plate,
Yeah, actually, you're right.
As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate.
Yeah, it's like served piping hot.
Yeah, it's like an iron griddle or whatever.
Isanosa brought it up.
I would guess it's some sort of trademark of La Carnival.
But only if you
Ah.
pressed. I didn't think about that.
This emblem on the plate. And the victim's burn are exactly the same shape.
Ryanosuke, you're genius.
You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant.
It's the case. Why does it matter?
What? That's not what he said.
But I already said that line, but even if that is the case.
Did you not hear the objection? Okay.
Oh, I said that. Did you hear me said that?
It sounded like he said something entirely different. Never mind. Let's go.
We can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. Could have been the day before, or the day before that. It most likely happened some other unrelated time.
Well,
Sadly, Prosecutor Ouchie, the chances of that are extremely slim.
Thanks.
The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga?
I can't imagine have missing such a terrible disaster, certainly.
But
I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long. And although it's not particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. This was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Ouchie. Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds.
It's inconceivable that the victim would have let out a scream of pain then.
I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I've not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of La Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation. I think sometimes your mic's cutting out for Ouchie.
Oh.
but you're a detective, you're not a waiter.
Maybe I'll be less shrill. Maybe it'll catch it then.
I don't know, I might have to. Head waiter and detective chair. There you have it. Something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There's no question of that.
And yet, Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream, not on that day or any before it.
He is very deep, Shady. That's right, and the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either.
What are you suggesting?
Well, if the professor carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day,
That would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel.
then the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer, all of us would, without any question, have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Professor Ouchie?
Yes, I suppose.
I can't talk now either. So the question
It
is,
seems like it works both ways.
why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream?
I almost don't believe it. Ryunosuke, do you think?
Giggity. Can it really be true? I never dreamt we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but I'm starting to think that maybe we've been led into a terrible trap.
Ugh, it's a trap!
There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson
Was already deceased.
Not asleep?
I don't think so.
No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. That's clearly impossible, apart from one particular situation.
Counsel, what are you suggesting?
Yes, it's only possible. If the man was already dead.
Already?
Dead?
Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. When the beef steak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead.
Oh,
That's madness!
No, that's Sparta!
Order, please. Council, explain this absurd notion at once. The victim was killed by a gunshot.
That's absolutely right, Your Majesty.
Majesty, well, I got an upgrade.
Oh, he did. I don't know where Majesty came from.
This is just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student, but clearly has no grasp on the fact.
No, Prosecutor Ouchi. It is you who has no grasp on the facts.
I beg your pardon?
As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again. If it is true, as we now believe, that the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it is highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it.
Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm
Clap.
sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement.
But it was tuna salad night. But Your Excellency.
The justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I am prepared to pass judgment.
Thank you, Your Excellency. What was that smile?
Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help.
And that's from English to Japanese. And you were worried you wouldn't get to voice her.
Listen, I don't want to talk about it. My dopamine is rushing. I'm excited.
Especially if it helps relations between my court and yours.
My country.
Miss Brett, you speak Japanese? Of course I do. I'm studying in your country after all.
But then why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now?
My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking your vulgar tones as much as possible.
Yeah, the cursive is when she's speaking in English.
The Queen's English, you?
Should just flip it.
But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of the English gentleman. So I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your level. Well, you are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. We are truly honored by this lavish consideration that you so graciously afford us.
I see. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words.
He wipes all the sweat away. Yeah.
He thirsty.
About the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson.
So, we're finally going to hear her own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryunosuke. Witness his testimony.
Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man's burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides a gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyways.
Just hear a princess laugh right there at the end.
Oh, ho, 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 ho. Oh, that was much better.
Thank you.
The most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in the Supreme Court's history. Thank you.
Easy does it.
I hope that is the last time I will have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming language. Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone. Not at all, not at all. It's a delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady. And it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burns is utterly irrelevant. I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today. The Minister of Justice? May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen.
Huh? Thanks? Was that a prayer then?
Well, you'll have to forget the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with a cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed this little bully of a student, as you put it. Doesn't miss much.
I'm sure I don't need to remind you, counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness's testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can't even do it like he does. But I also wearing headphones. Yes, Your Excellency.
It would have been funny if he had hand marks. He stopped himself so hard.
Then you may proceed with the cross-examination.
It's like his special power, Apollo Justice, feels his wrist tightening. And Ryunosuke makes his face red.
By slapping it?
Yeah.
He just 5 stars his face.
But then it, whatchamacallit, it gives him ultimate cross-examination powers.
Okay. Are we just pressing places?
Yeah. I mean, we can press. I already know which one we would have to cross-examine to, like present.
But his hand was in the searing hot plate for at least 3 whole seconds. You can't have not noticed.
You think so? Let me ask you something.
Sorry?
Ever since I arrived at this courtroom, and even still now, the fly on slightly black trousers of yours have been wide open. Cannot have noticed, can you?
Huh? What? Ah!
I thought those pants...
What fun!
I didn't think those pants had zippers. I thought they were buttons.
You hadn't realized.
I guess it has a zipper.
My dear lady is absolutely right.
As your friend, you've embarrassed me as well as yourself, Ryunosuke.
Why didn't you tell me?
Dr. Wilson was a true English gentleman. He chose honorable silence over a vulgar scream. Can your tiny brains imagine such a thing?
Yikes.
Oh yes, I think my tiny brain can.
Yes. Well, I can't. Which is why I shouted yes.
Anyway,
That sounds like they need a nope shout.
Yeah, right?
What? Sure.
Yeah, you can press it.
We're getting some quality gold. As you testified before, you were drinking carbonated water, is that right?
Dr. was only permitted to drink water at the time, if you remember. Which explains why he ordered that drink, correct, waiter?
Exactly as you say, sir. Although,
Yeah, Dual Destinies did have that.
Although,
whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to the table, I'm afraid I don't remember that.
damn you. I have enough English to understand that at least. For the benefit of others in the court, it means bless you.
I think it means the exact opposite.
Anyway,
Yes! Yes, it's written here in the paperwork. Fatal hemorrhage from ballistic trauma. Miss Brett?
Did you not hear me say yes?
No, it must
Yeah,
have
I
cut
think-
out.
Oh man, I think it's the fan. Here, let me lower the fan a little bit. It's trying to block out too much audio. Okay, let's go.
yes.
Uh,
Luckily for all of us, a little burn on the wrist isn't going to kill us. And there are no other signs of trauma on the victim's body to indicate some other cause of death. It can only have been a bullet from your gun that put an end to this innocent man's life.
but it doesn't make sense. The burn must have happened straight away when the plate was first brought to the table by the waiter.
Yes, that's true. If it had cooled even slightly, wouldn't have been able to make a burn like that.
And if the victim burnt his wrist on the hot plate as soon as it was brought out from the kitchen, then he must already have been dead at that point. Prove he doesn't own a gun? The thing, though, is he picked up a gun. What?
The fact is that the victim was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Until you're able to show the court evidence to disprove that this is a complete waste of time.
I concur. Prosecutor Ouchie is right.
Ugh. No, their argument hinges that he picked it up off the ground.
That's where we would have to present. I can feel it in my detective, prosecutor, defense attorney
Okay,
bones.
well, let's press.
Without leaving a trace.
If someone is shot, or strangled, or stabbed, or thrown from a height, however a person's life is taken, there are always telltale traces on the body. Quite right, dear lady. And as our police force has thoroughly examined the body of the deceased, there can be no doubt. Isn't that right, Inspector Hasanaga?
As I've said, I always aim for a flawless investigation.
There would be physical traces of all those caused the death, that's true. But maybe there's some other way of killing someone that doesn't leave a mark.
If, heavens forbid, you doubt me, young man, you're going to have to let everyone know exactly how you think the professor did lose his life. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls rather flat, doesn't it? Oh no, bears your thought, calling it sweet young lady's innocence into question. On my honor, I, Takatsuchi Ouchi, will cut down any who dare cast such aspersions.
Oh, Shady, no, they do not have fingerprints at this point in time. Or, I mean, they have fingerprints. They don't have fingerprint testing.
Fingerprints hadn't been invented yet. It wasn't until Tom
Yeah.
Fingerprint invented them in 1975.
Oh, I thought it was Mr. Fingerprints.
Oh no!
A way of killing someone that leaves no trace.
We need some evidence to back us here.
Yes, evidence.
Evidence! Can I see the evidence?
Sure.
No. Not that. Next, no. Maybe? Can I see that one real quick? No, the other one. The picture. I wasn't sure if there's like a little pouch or something. Next photo? No. Last photo?
And we,
No,
we still
okay.
haven't pressed the last statement yet.
Oh yeah, let's press the last one. It might have the item.
Inferior? What do you mean by that?
In the land of the great British Empire, the police store everything found at the crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you investigate once and that's the end of it. Isn't that so? Quite right. La Carnival's open for business as usual today, just days after the incident. Exactly, which means that even if the investigation takes a different turn,
Oh. Oh. What? Final evidence may be lost. I don't. That's different.
He was coughing.
Yeah, but like, it doesn't. This I don't. It's a new technique of the game that I wasn't aware of. It doesn't even occur to your native detectives to try to preserve the crime scene.
Naive detectives, but yeah, I mean, why else do you think there's at least two people on the stand? You have to be able to react to each
guess so.
other.
Isn't this like didn't Phoenix Wright versus Professor Layton have that or whatever? I feel like it did.
At least something similar, I think. I'm not sure though. But Miss Brett,
I'm trying to be as tactful as I can, you understand. Killer blow! The lady's as formidable as she is beautiful!
amazing. He's actually admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Ouchie is finally starting to see sense.
I very much doubt that.
Still, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. There was a moment before when something didn't seem quite right.
What do you think, Ryunosuke?
I think it's going terribly. No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information.
Yes. As I suspected, she's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination will be over.
But that would mean I have to find a way. There must be some clue somewhere to help us find a chink in her armor. Kazuma,
What, Ryunosuke?
there is one thing I noticed, something that's been bothering me.
Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett?
Actually, no. About the person standing next to her, Inspector Hosonaga.
The detective?
Yes, he seemed to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant, if it might present an opening, maybe.
Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing on the last statement one more time.
If you think so, but
But this time, instead of targeting the woman herself, let's see what we can get out of the detective.
alright then. I wonder what Kazuma's thinking. I'll find out soon enough, I suppose, once I press Miss Brett on her last statement again.
My Discord just did like it looked like it froze, but we're good. Just letting you know, in
Ah.
case something happens.
Oops.
It's on my end.
Yeah, I was just seeing if
the-
it had any yellow little thing on my end, but it doesn't.
No. My whole Discord screen did the whole like white not responding thing. It's literally on my end. So
Okay.
I'll send you a message if it for some reason kicks me out or anything. But it looks good.
Okay. I assume we're pressing this again.
Yep. And then when he starts coughing and it goes, wait.
I will skip all the stuff that's the same.
There. What can we do here?
Yes, there it is again. The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why? I love that this
Why?
canonically means that they're like repeating their statements word for word.
and they're reacting exactly the same way every single time. Up until now, the detective had been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. But things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the Englishwoman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity.
What do you mean?
When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you'll find that they often let their guard down.
You're right. Look at him. He's lost his own thoughts.
All alone. You are the ocean's great waves. It's time to pursue the man and his train of thought.
Sorry? Pursue?
Pursue. I'll explain how to do it now, Bjornowski. All you have to do... It's all to do with the witness marker.
What marker?
At the moment, we're focused on Miss Brett, who's the person actually making the current statement. I would love him manifesting, like, a GIF in front of him. But by moving the marker left and right, with the left and right control pad, you can turn your attention to the other people in the stand.
It does remind me of the live action Ace Attorney movie because they'll just like manifest screens and stuff, but it's supposed to be like technology they have.
That's so funny.
Like they can just make like holographic screens. So.
It's like everybody just has magic in their bones. While you're looking at other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them with A. If you can catch the person just at the right time, you might uncover some new information to pursue. If you ever noticed a strange atmosphere amongst the people on the stand, take a good look around.
Alright then, so first I should move the marker across to the left and right and focus on the detective. Then pursue him with A and see what's on his mind. Here we go.
Exactly, which means even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost.
Pursue!
Excuse me!
Me!
Ugh, what's the meaning of this? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his
That's such a
thoughts.
missed opportunity.
Deeply.
All alone. Excuse me? Instead of nope, it could have been excuse me. We would have been pioneers. It looks like you were thinking of something just now, Inspector.
It would have been a lot harder to fit excuse me into that tiny little image there.
That's why.
Like you could
I
barely
know.
fit nope.
I remember. It was a nightmare. Nightmare. Perhaps having heard what the lady said next to you, what the lady next to you had to say.
If there's something you'd like to say, please, share it with the court. Share it with the classroom.
Did you bring enough excuse me for everybody?
What's the meaning of this?
Why'd you turn into like old bag there?
Oh, listen, she's trying to come out. My entire life I've been stifling her. She's a blight on my existence.
It's the delightful English woman who's testifying at the moment. If you can't find fault with her testimony, then the cross-examination should be over immediately.
Oh, is that how it works?
Absolutely not.
Huh?
The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness.
Sound logic. Yes, not to mention the fact that he's intimately involved with the case.
Intimately.
Inspector Hasanaga,
Yes?
do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett?
really want to see the other side of that napkin.
It's all red. Solid red.
Yes, if you don't mind, I would like to speak. The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain, which is why I, Satoru Hosonaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless.
What do you really mean by that?
I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see.
I'm not afraid of stealing.
I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done.
Crime Scene Thief has the same kind of chaotic energy as Cough Up Queen, and it's appropriate for host.
And he's coughing up, Queen.
Yeah. Cough Up Queen! Do it.
A crime scene thief. I'm also surprised you remember Cough Up Queen.
Listen, I'll never forget the Cough Up Queen. Like, I don't know why. Well, it looks like the lady's remarks touch a nerve there.
Take this, for example. Is that? This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took to the victim's table on the day in question. And yes, it's lost all of its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says.
So, get it? When she said your argument will fall flat, that's what she meant.
Yes, there's some left in the bottle, I can see it. One day our police force will be among the best in the world. The time is coming, I guarantee it.
Isn't that crime? Well, it's taking the evidence. I mean, he's also an inspector, so I don't know. I think it's a gray area.
I can't say I condone the witness's actions, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept the glass bottle of water as evidence.
Ba-da-da-dum. Let's examine that bad boy.
Miss Brett.
Oops, that is people. That is not exam.
Walter Bottle.
That is also not examine. That is exit. The buttons are all different in this version.
Let's see if there's like sediment at the bottom or something.
The label is written in a foreign language that I don't recognize. Do you know what it says, Kazuma?
I think it's French. This must be very expensive water.
French water. It's to why use one word when 10 words will do. Hey, they're cool name, yeah. They are wordy. It can't count as tampering if it does. I mean, it's not. He can't tamper if the crime scene's going to be thrown away anyways, though, Shady.
Very convenient.
Yes, but what does it say? That's what I was asking.
Then go to France and ask.
You could just say that you don't know.
Air King's expedition. These two start making out. Next case.
No, don't. The water's gonna come out.
There's nothing in the bottom. Nothing.
It's gonna spill. No,
it's not. See? It's just hanging upside down.
There.
What?
There. What's that?
Oh, here we go.
So this carbonated water is the last drink Dr. Wilson ever had.
It looks like there's a little left in the bottle, although it's just plain water now.
Yeah, it's the next case. You can't lie to me. It's not a lie. It's just carbonated truth.
Carbonated truth.
You know, I've been sweating so much, I'm almost parched. I'll just have a sip of this to keep me going.
No! Ryunosuke, you can't do that! For one thing, that's evidence. You can't go drinking evidence.
Oh no, you're right. We don't know what might be inside, do we?
You never cease to amaze me, Ryunosuke, in more ways than one.
I wonder,
Could
there be anything in this water?
Not anymore. You kept it upside down for 5 minutes. What's the matter? You've gone quite
I like the idea that they're holding the bottle upside down as it's just pouring out and having this conversation.
Ouchie's just like, ah.
Because it was just like, as its last is dropping, I was like, you can't drink it, it's evidence. Might have worked something out, an interesting possibility. Oh, my throat. Sorry.
Okay, so we can.
Let me wipe away some blood.
Miss Brett, can you confirm this is indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death?
Yes, it was that bottle.
How do you know? Who is that about?
The judge is holding it like 7 feet away, like in the air behind him.
She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question.
Hmm?
It's not water, it's wine. No, he can't be drinking wine. He's ordered not to drink anything but water, because that would infect the... Would it infect? I don't know. Alcohol's very clean. But
Giselle Brett is actually reverse Jesus. She can turn wine into water.
like the waiter bloke, he's hot.
Very well, counsel, you may resume the cross-examination. Then the inspector will kindly control his fever. Ahem.
Okay, so yeah, so if you could just prove, like with the second to last one, I think. Yeah, show her the bottle.
Look at the bottle.
Baby. Show her the bottle.
What is this? The bottle of water?
Actually, there's one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind.
Poison. That girl has poison.
Obviously, I'm referring to a poison.
Poison?
On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be there was poison inside? Because Jesus can water into wine. Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass?
God, a sip? If a sip killed him, like, just smelling it would, like, instantly murder you.
Order, order, order.
And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink? There's only one person who could have done it. Giselle Brett. It was you. Eternity does some things pretty well in this character design, making some good poses and react. Yeah, especially this game. It has some really good animations.
This is outrageous! To suggest such a thing without a scrap of evidence! You little rookie imbecile! Have you considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now? Have you forgotten that we only just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire? Have you forgotten that even the biggest thing claimed that your rash accusation could jeopardize the entire treaty?
Jeez.
This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one's individual guilt with respect to one crime.
What?
The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth.
If I may, I will silence you forever from this disgraceful attack. It is you who should be silent.
I love that. Shut up!
Shut up. Of course.
Oh, she has some nice poses. Yeah. Where did that come from? She just snapped.
I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies.
As a command.
Shut up.
Maybe. I'll think about it.
Sorry, my lady, to what are you referring?
It might have to be a channel point reward though, because then I'll actually stop my sentence when somebody says it. You don't get to hear the rest of the thought. That's it.
Yeah.
I described your police force as inferior. But no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I mean, Inspector, and whether it contained poison or not.
Of course. You did? Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time. I don't believe it. Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents. And what did you find, Inspector? I ordered tests for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. We could find no trace of poison of any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency.
Are you sure?
The tests were meticulously carried out by the chief coroner himself. No!
I'm very grateful to all you Japanese. You successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you. But of course, dear lady, the pleasure was all ours.
I was so sure.
This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned.
Thank you, Consul. I think that cross-examination has clarified everything.
Why did you give him a nerd voice? He's Chad.
Is
More
the,
like he's a shad.
as the prosecution have asserted, a shot to the chest from the gun is the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore, the accused, who by his own admission was holding this weapon, is the only possible culprit. I'm done for. The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience this has caused you, Miss Brett.
Oh no. I'm just glad it's resolved.
Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for the defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present at to the court at this point? Kazuma?
I'm sorry, Yonosuke. I have nothing more.
Well, if you'll excuse me now, I really must be leaving.
Oh. Who was that? Oh.
I mean, you voiced her before a little.
Oh God. What should I do? Just like just a
Very,
Japanese
very
boy?
traditional Japanese girl.
Oh God.
Please wait.
I'll work on it.
Please
Don't
wait.
worry, you have lots of time to work on it.
Isn't that... What is the meaning of this?
Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense.
Well, cool, man. I didn't know you liked you appreciated female character designs, but I'm glad you did too.
Mikotoba. In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand, she carried a small package wrapped in a furoshiki cloth. Just a second, I need to check. Did they did say her name.
So you already know
Sato.
you already know her last name because you know her father.
Mikotoba. Was it like 1,000 Truths or something like that?
Word of God, or there was another. Wait, crap. I
Oh,
Why do I not have...
Thousand Truth was Kazuma, right?
Essentially, it was word of God or take someone at their word. But first name, I assume you don't.
Zato.
I assume you don't have any
I
idea.
don't.
I would not expect you to, because the reason her name is Susato is Shu Takumi, the writer of the series, liked the kanji. That's it.
Ah,
He liked the way the kanji looked.
fair.
But also, the kanji is made up of stuff like honor, feather, and city. But they have nothing to do with the character.
That's why it should be a light voice dragon. Because she has feather in her kanji.
Yeah. You like all the character designs? Just thirst after the male designs? Fair. At least you admit it. And in her hand, she carried a small package wrapped in a furoshiki cloth. I don't know what a furoshiki cloth is, but...
Furoshiki. To be continued. Puro.
Save!